Very good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to another Friday and in another episode of Eclectica today. Today, I have a very interesting topic to discuss with a very, very dynamic personality. So, if you're here and if you're listening us and you're joining in this live, just put a hi and hello in the comments. That encourages us very much. Well, in this whole September, I have been talking and I have been talking with experts, as you have seen, in different aspects of health, nutrition, food, because that is something which keeps us going as a human being. Well, in the market, there are a lot of information throughout the social media or internet today. Have we have resources to access what is right and what is wrong? There, lies the challenge. So today, I will be discussing on a very, very trending and recent topic that you might have been seeing advertises or you might have seen in some stores where we call it as prebiotics, probiotics. So today we will have our special guest who will break the ice on all the myths and facts, and we will have a very interesting conversation. So before I pull in my guest, let me just introduce about Dr. Jayashree Ladha to all of you. So Dr. Jayashree Ladha has over 20 years of collective experience in the area of research, particularly virology and cancer biology, execution and business development, and has donned the role of heading microarray department of a leading genomics company. She also holds a doctoral degree in biotechnology from National Center of Cell Sciences, Pune, and has pursued her research interest in addressing diseases such as HIV-1 or AIDS and glioblastoma brain tumors using her expertise in genomics and biochemistry. She has published in several reputed peer-reviewed research papers in international journals and article in book. She is also the recipient of AIDS International Training and Research Program AITRP Fellowship by Fogarty International to work in the field of HIV-1 and R.H. Jaju Memorial Award instituted by Indian Association of Cancer Research. So that is where I call we have a very dynamic personality as our guest today. Okay, she and to note this, she has been part of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women at Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. She is currently the Chief Scientific Officer at Rudra Bioventures Private Limited and is responsible for expanding the business of probiotics, algae, and customized premixes for nutraceutical applications through her academic and professional training, and she is on her pursuit to identify a contributable purpose in life. What a wonderful thing to understand. So now I will call in Dr. Jayashree Ladha, and let me see if she's here in the back end. Very good evening, Dr. Jayashree, and thank you so much for being here today at Eclectica. It's a privilege for me to host you today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gargi. I'm really privileged to be here and happy to interact with you today on this platform.
Thank you. So, Dr. Jayashree, today I have a lot of questions to ask you, and you may please allow me to do that. And I think we are going to go ahead with a very, very interesting conversation today.
Yes, sure. Let's start.
Yeah. So, Dr. Jayashree, just coming to the first question, like as we all know now that about you, I mean, what a dynamic academics and what a dynamic entrepreneur you are. So, from that point, I think you would be the perfect person to answer this question. Like, what exactly are these prebiotics and probiotics? What does this mean in the true sense?
All right. So I'll introduce these two terms to the viewers, and I mean, we have known these microbes, which are live microbes, which we have been consuming for a long time, like in our foods. But
Right.
from the definition point of view, live microorganisms, when we take in adequate amounts and when we take it for a certain health benefit that should happen, these are the live microorganisms that are called as probiotics. Now they have
Okay.
to have certain characteristics to be called as probiotics, because they have to stay in the hostile environments of stomach,
Right.
and the entire gut.
Hmm.
Basically, I mean, they have to be acid and bile tolerant, and they should colonize, basically. Colonize in the sense that, they should be able to adhere to the intestinal linings. Of course, they
Hmm.
have to be safe. And
Hmm.
basically, how they act right now is basically create a lot of competition for, the other microbes which are generally present. So they outnumber, the other organisms, and don't allow pathogens to grow. So that's
Correct.
about the probiotics. Now,
Okay.
we will talk more as we go along this
Hmm.
thing. I'll also introduce this term which is called as prebiotics. So
Right.
we just told you about probiotics.
Hmm.
Now, what are prebiotics? Prebiotics are nothing but non-digestible carbohydrates. These are generally oligosaccharides, means small molecules that are
Hmm.
selectively utilized by the host microbes. Means they
Okay.
are administered along with this thing to confer a
Hmm.
health benefit. And basically their function is to nourish the cells in the gut lining. The probiotic which we want them to adhere to the gut, so they help them. And there are many reports showing, they help in reducing the risk for cancer. And being small molecules, they can actually enter into the bloodstream and basically regulate the inflammation and the immune responses. So that's the reason, I mean, why probiotics and prebiotics are given together to get a composite and a better effect of the this terms that, now people have been
Hmm.
using probiotics so much.
Correct. Right. I think that was a very simple way of explaining this complex entities, and I think it's very clear to all of us what exactly these two things mean. So, in context to the same thing, that how exactly how they work inside our bodies. If I'm, it might be a very generic question, but I think if you can just summarize and tell us like how exactly they act on our bodies.
So what we know is I mean, the most common knowledge or the most layman language knowledge that people have is that they help in the our gut. Probiotics are taken for gut. That's the most simplest, and I think probably that is where it starts. So, of course, other than that, what many people don't know is
Hmm.
that, that human bodies are not able to synthesize some vitamins,
Yes.
right? So
Hmm.
these are done by these microbes which are present in our bodies. Okay, so like B vitamins, vitamin K, they help in the absorption of certain minerals like calcium and magnesium. And of course, there is a lot of research and study showing that, it helps in many diseases. Now we
Hmm.
have started to associate the gut with our brain, and there are a lot of gut and organ system axes that are being studied, lungs and skin, and of course the brain. So they are conferring a lot of health benefits, whether it is in terms of immune defense, or reducing the inflammatory responses in our body, and
Hmm.
the galt associated tissues whatever are there. So this is where our immune system. So now people are telling that half of your, I mean, 70% of your immune system is in your gut.
Right.
So you are
Right.
as good as how good your gut is. So that's the reason all of these things have gained a lot more importance. We have seen this, that probiotics have been used against when we use antibiotics. So they are
Hmm. Hmm.
prescribed this thing because when you use antibiotics, basically you kill the microbes, because these are
Correct.
fragile microorganisms which gets killed on this thing. So you need to repopulate your gut lining
Correct.
using these things. That's the reason we administer probiotics. And like I said, very importantly, I mean, the routine use of these things
Hmm.
is very important
Hmm.
for vitamin synthesis, mineral absorptions. So
Hmm.
we should not forget, other than, I mean, of course, diarrhea and all these things, antibiotic associated diarrhea, and,
Hmm.
antibiotic resistance, and so many other bowel related problems for which we use probiotics. There are
Hmm.
some very basic functions that these probiotics do.
Right. I think it's more about they basically restoring our what we are born with. So basically, I think if I put it in a very single sentence, if I'm correct, you might correct me if I'm wrong. That because these elements actually help us, prebiotics or probiotics, they help us to, as you said rightly, about immunity, or like we don't tend to develop any resistance towards particularly drugs, multi-drug resistance or kind of things like that, because then we can repopulate our commensal microorganisms, as I understand it from you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so taking like as you rightly said that it should be you should take it regularly. So the question is now that should we take prebiotics and probiotics every day?
You actually, in our Indian context, if you see, we've been doing this all along. I mean, we have been taking probiotics in terms of yogurt, buttermilk, or there are areas where we put fermented kanji. You use mustard, this thing to make this fermented things. So we have been using fermented foods all these while. So having this thing like fermented food is one of the best way, and this is also one way of administering probiotics. So very safely we can take this. In fact, Eli Meshnikov, Russian biologist, he actually coined this term probiotic based on the daily consumption of the fermented cheeses by Bulgarians, which actually led them to lead a very long, healthy and a healthy life. So, I mean, probiotics have been associated from, at the turn of 19th century itself. And it's absolutely safe to take probiotics. Even if you take higher, so what happens is that what adheres to our lining stays, and the remaining, gets cleared from our body. So it's not like we are overdoing anything when we are taking probiotics. But yeah, with a caution, certain people may have problems of bloating and other things, and we can talk. I mean, there's a lot of details that we can talk about it, when it comes of dosage and everything. And basically, if you say in a short things, the answer is yes, you can take prebiotics and probiotics. We have been using a lot of fibers. So I also want to add here that when we are talking about fibers, there are two types of fibers. One is soluble and one is insoluble. So the insoluble forms basically part of the roughage, and helps the bowel movement and everything. But prebiotics are soluble fibers. So these are what helps microbes to grow. So they have we need to have a good balance of both pre and pro. I mean, sorry, the soluble and the insoluble fibers in our diet, and as regards the prebiotics.
Yeah, so I'm sorry about the background noise because it's Durga Puja. I'm right now in Kolkata, so
Oh,
today is the inception of Durga Puja. So some festival and the drummers have come from different areas of West Bengal, and they actually play the drums. Well, so my next question would be like this: that how good or bad would be a prebiotic or a probiotic? I think you have already answered a part of the question, so but still I would just like to go ahead with it.
yeah, so the thing is that the moderation is the key, right? Like, so some immunocompromised people may have problems when you administer a large dose of probiotic. In fact, the new research, and the way the people are treating microbiome today is basically very personalized, going very personalized, in the sense that you look at what is the makeup of your own microbiota in this thing, and if you want to enrich a certain kind of probiotic into your system for a particular reason, it is possible to do that using specific prebiotics also. So the new research now is on the lines of what is called as enriching a particular type of probiotic using specific prebiotic. So this is the new area where people are doing and going personalized. basically for all health benefits that probiotics can offer. So there are certain situations where we should take the clinical advice, or as to how much and whether or not you can do. Mostly two reasons. One, that is the immunocompromised people may or may should do it only under advice. The second thing is people who may have any inflammation or bloating issues with high doses may want to select a particular program, again take under supervision. Otherwise, it is safe.
I understand. That's very clearly well placed, as you said. I mean, it's very clear to us. So, well, a very important and very interesting question which is running in my mind is about your organization. So, can you tell us more about your organization, that is Rudra Bioventures Private Limited, and the services it offers?
Okay, so Rudra Bioventures basically is a techno-commercial company, and we are all trained, in our own biological fields. We believe in harnessing the biopotential through, the live microorganisms, and so there are three verticals in which we work. One is the probiotics. The other is basically we offer, the customized nutritional premixes of various ingredients that are classified under the nutraceutical category. We are also working with algae basically right now for some high value added products for health benefits. So these are the three areas in which we work right now, and offer products, and our a lot of our work is customized, and we offer customized solutions in these three areas.
Okay, so that's great to know. And I think we'll get all the information in the description of this video once this live is over. So, how do you see the future of human health in terms of changing lifestyles and food habits at the present moment?
So I'd say like COVID has been a quite a game changer. So last 2 years of COVID show did see various things happening, like overeating, eating only what was available. There was a lot of anxiety due to the availability, scarcity, being at home all the time, and restricted for movements, reduced physical activity. So many things happened, but on the contrary, so all of these things led to, even to overeating, weight gain, and many other things that happen, mood swings. I mean, a lot of people had this thing because there was no interaction among people, physical interaction among people, plus confined to being in a particular area. So people who were probably like wanting to go out and do things were restricted. So plus this anxiety also created a lot of piling up, stocking up of things that you don't want to get the this thing for your family, for your own self, and being at home all the time. Even today, I mean, if you are left at home today for some time, I mean, I think kitchen is the place that you would go most, like every now and then, and pick up something. So that way, a lot of I mean, there are both ways, but initial part of it or did see a lot of weight gain in people, and binge eating, because they were constantly on some kind of sort of digital media, be it laptop or phones or whatever it was. So people also resorted to comfort foods, like but on the contrary, what has also happened is that people have understood the importance of health. When this kind of a calamity struck, a lot of people understood the importance of health and paying attention to health. So the flip side of this is that, so we cannot talk about only one side. When this happened, the other thing also happened, because a lot of thing happened in this last 2 years, and and now people resort to healthy living. They know consciously. So when we talk today about probiotics on this media, I mean, I'm sure, people know that, why should, I mean, they have an interest in knowing that, what is probiotics, what is healthy food, what is vitamin C, and why one should take vitamin C. And people have, resorted to understanding these things through Google knowledge and any, other things also. So that way I feel, I mean, the awareness on health has improved a lot. And I mean, that is also seen with respect to the nutritional supplements, food, eating, lifestyle, exercising, mental health, all of these things being talked about. And these are not things that, only, like, some people talk about now. So even kids, you would find, like, at least in the metros, talking about, what is healthy living, and living on this kind of, good foods that will help them to nourish their health. And certainly food is a very, very important factor in our health. Many times people say that, even when you go to gyms and exercise and things like that, 80% of, your health or your workout will be defined, I mean, giving results based on what you eat, and not just, how much you burn. So there's a clear cut, the understanding now in the way we want to have our life, and make the lifestyle changes accordingly.
Absolutely, I agree with you very much on this. And I think it's a combination of understanding, awareness, food, and exercise altogether. Because basically, we have become a couch potato for many reasons, in and particularly due to even the type of sedentary work that has been, come back, has come into practice in due course of time. And yes, COVID was one situation, and I think everything has a positive side, and this that people are becoming aware is very positive. And I think that increases the parameter, or it gives an exponential growth towards increasing social health, I must, if I just put it like that. Yeah. So, Dr. Jayashree, yeah, it is very inspiring to see women entrepreneurs, and particularly, I am very inspired when I see, stalwart people like you. So, I just like to understand what inspired you to enter entrepreneurship, and how is the journey till this time?
So I mean, I must admit, I'm not like a, I mean, I was really not an entrepreneur by choice, in the sense that I feel, I still feel that I'm more of, executioner than an entrepreneur. But yeah, being in this entrepreneurship, this thing, what you automatically become something like that, where you start doing new things. So I joined, the Rudrabai Ventures. I was active in Rudrabai Ventures since 2013-14, and we tried a lot of different things. We pivoted, into what we were doing earlier, and now where we are. So the good thing about being on your own, um, is that, and at least to sustain, I mean, when one sustains so much, change, and like, changes that happen to run the business, basically what happens is that you no longer fear, basically. You don't fear trying. And I think that's the best thing about entrepreneurs thing. I wouldn't say it has it, of course it comes with its ups and downs. Financial stability, of course, is a big parameter in, continuing with what you are doing. And that is the pulse, I mean, successful entrepreneur understands that, while being happy doing what you want to do, being, your own master and everything. When you have to, like, think about, because for me, entrepreneurship, when I do this thing, I think one of the important thing that happens is that you have power to employ people. You provide employability. So that I feel is a good, one of the best outcomes of being an entrepreneur, apart from doing what you are doing, and take people along with you. So the
Absolutely.
journey has been good. It is still going, and I mean, ups and downs are there. But yeah, there's a lot of freedom in exploring what you want to do.
And
So
I think that was a very powerful statement that yes, entrepreneurship basically, I agree with you very much. Being a beginner in this phase myself, that it makes us fearless. We don't fear to take risk or face any challenges, because it becomes a part and parcel of life, that we know that that's the way we need to try, we need to fail, and we need to again reinvent, and the journey goes on. And I think that itself is an inspiration to go on with this momentum in life. And yes, sustainability we need to figure out, and I think we become a lifelong learner. Otherwise, if would have been we would have been in another phase of life, perhaps we wouldn't have been like this, what we are doing in our own entrepreneurial journey. So
in fact,
Dr. Jay, yeah,
you actually, I just want to add, I mean, you end
sure,
up nurturing or training your employees also this way, that you don't want to them to stick to a certain thing only, at least when you are
correct.
starting. So you are actually, I mean, opening up minds of many other people. You can explore many things that you can do. If one fails, the other thing, there's a lot of learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Jayashree, being in this field for quite a long time, I think we would like to know, and just to go to my last question to you, and coming to the conclusion of this conversation. So, what would be your message to the world for achieving a healthy lifestyle?
For me, I'd say it'd be very simple. Eat good food. Don't overindulge. In your initial life, you can do that. The midlife. I mean, you have to be very careful about what you are eating, and of course, exercise in whatever form you can, whether running, jogging, playing, yoga, whatever you do. We know it releases very good chemicals that keeps your mind, body healthy, and keeps you stress free. In because that's the vent. And the other thing what I feel is that give and take help both. So it's a great
Fantastic.
feeling, I mean. And but taking help also makes you humble, and
Absolutely.
giving help um, gives you a lot of joy. So keep it very simple. And of course, interaction, I feel human interaction is very important. Communicate your feelings to people who you can. And sleep well. Yeah, these are very simple things that I don't think we need too many things. These are all in our reach. And I think very very possible to inculcate in our lives.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Jayashree. It was wonderful talking to you and learning from you, and getting a very good clarity on these very gray topics of prebiotics, probiotics, or just by seeing advertisements, there are a lot of things that is happening in the market, but we don't really understand where to start or what to take. And I think this conversation would have inspired many minds, and it is a very valuable information and insight that we got from you today. Thank you so much. I know how busy you are, but still, you are here today and we had this conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.